Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first podcast, and I've gone live on Instagram and on Facebook. So this is super intimidating, and I want to tell you why I'm here. So I've been thinking about doing this podcast for a really long time. Talked to one of my friends, Jill, and she was all into podcasting, and I love listening to podcasts. So it's been on my to-do list, my bucket list, and then I joined what's called the OFA Challenge, the One Funnel Away Challenge with Russell Brunson, who is my mentor. And we have been challenged to publish every single day, 365 days a year, this year. So here's day number 1, and I've chosen podcasting because, again, I just love podcasting. But what I want to share with you today in this podcast and live with you, whoever jumps on, is really my story behind why I love essential oils so much. And so people don't really understand. In fact, one of my son's friends was talking to him about how oils don't work. And they even worked for the company that I love oils, that I get my oils from. And sometimes that just gets to me, but I want to share why I use them, why they've been so phenomenal. And so about 2010, I started having a lot of health issues. I started having migraines. I was gaining weight. I was having joint pains. I love to run. Anybody that knows me knows that I love to run. And I was having problems with my knee and also with one of my shoulders. I was experiencing a lot of stress, and my mood was often really low. I also was having chronic sinus infections. And so I had been on antibiotics on and off for over a year. And so if one didn't work, let's try this next one. Let's try this next one. I didn't know what it was doing to my body, but I know it wasn't helping with my sinus infections. There was something else going on. In addition, I was having miscarriages and knew that I could have babies. My husband and I could have babies, but for some reason at this point in our life, we were having miscarriages. And I started feeling really alone and feeling stuck, that what I was doing, that I was going to the doctor, going to another doctor, getting a prescription, trying this, trying that. Hey, maybe we should do surgery. And I remember one day that I was taking 2 of my little kids to the city. We lived in a small town, and we were going to the city for groceries. And just before we got to this really big canyon, the side of my face started going tingly and then started going numb. And I thought, am I having a stroke? Like, what is going on? Should I pull over? And we were in a place where I didn't have service, so I couldn't call 911. Should I pull over hoping that somebody stops? What should I do? And I just had this feeling that just make it down to the bottom of the canyon, because there was a city that had a hospital just right at the mouth of the canyon. And so I made it there, went to the ER, had the different tests done, and they said, you're having a migraine. And they gave me this really expensive pill. Within about 5 or 6 minutes, the migraine was gone, and I felt a lot better. But that really scared me, and I thought, this really can't be my life. This is crazy. Like, what's going on? What's the solution to this? But the thing that really hit me, and the thing that made me kind of in the lowest part of this whole experience, was it was Christmas morning, 2010. And I woke up with a migraine. And I remember thinking, gosh, this should be a really happy time. I had 4 little kids. They're super excited about Christmas and the things that go on. Like, this should be one of the happiest days of our family life, right? And I felt terrible. If you've had migraines, you know how you feel. It's terrible. But besides that feeling terrible, what I really felt most terrible about was the guilt that I was feeling, because I didn't want to be there. I did not want to be there with my kids as they were opening their presents. I wanted to be tucked away in my bedroom in the dark where it was quiet. And I remember just faking it through that morning and counting down the seconds to when we were going to be done, and my husband going to take the kids and help them get breakfast. And so once that happened, I locked myself in my room, and it was dark, and I remember crying, and it was lonely and sleeping, but feeling like, this is not the life that I want. For those who know me, that you know that I love to do things. I love to work. I love to be active. I love to be moving. I love to be achieving. That just brings me a lot of happiness and energy. And I felt like that was gone. And then I had on top of that this guilt, this mom guilt of like, you're not showing up as a very good mom. And I just remember laying there and knowing that something had to change, but I didn't know what it was, because what I was doing wasn't working, but I didn't know any alternatives. And it's interesting that when you decide that you're ready for a change, that Providence shows up with something. So a couple of months later, we're standing in a hayfield with another family, and we're flying kites. And I started having allergies, and I had allergies since my first girls camp when I was 12, and I just used medication. I didn't have any medication, and so as my eyes were watering and my nose was running, my throat was really itchy, super uncomfortable, thinking that I needed to leave, my friend appears, and she's like, well, why don't you try this? She pulled out this little brown bottle. I didn't know what it was. She said, just put a couple of drops on your finger and rub it across the bridge of your nose, and maybe it'll help. She wasn't sure, but she had been using essential oils for a little bit and wanted to experiment, I guess. So I really thought it was weird, because I never experienced like you rub something on your nose and it takes your allergies away. But I tried it, and within a couple of minutes, I had relief. And it was shocking. And all of us were kind of standing around in our kitchen laughing about that experience, because it was a new one for all of us. But more importantly, it created this epiphany for me. It created this aha moment of knowing that for certain there were things out there that I just hadn't discovered yet that could help me with the health issues that I was struggling with. I was certain that there was something out there. I didn't know if it was essential oils. I didn't know what it was, but I was certain there was something out there. And I remember going home and Googling. I was Googling essential oils. I was putting in my different symptoms and things that I was struggling with. What have other people tried? What alternatives are out there? And a lot of things that I came across had to do with nutrition, that, the things that you consume impact you. It made sense, but it was like this new knowledge that, like the things that I consume, they become my body. That's what my cells reproduce from, are the things that I consume. And it was like another epiphany, like this makes total sense. Like this is a duh, but it hit me in a different way. Like, okay, there are definitely some things that I need to change. And I was finally open to being able to make those changes. A lot of them were with nutrition. And so I started formulating this plan by looking at the different things that were out there. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. My friend has said something about this. I'm going to try that. And so one of the major things was with nutrition. The other one was just trying with some essential oils, also detoxing, different tinctures. I was open to homeopathy. I was just open at this point to trying some new things. And so I kind of created my plan. And what I discovered as I was going along, wanting to create this change, is that it was really hard. That changing your nutrition is, at least for me, is one of the hardest things on the planet. I discovered that I had ingrained in me habits that I have been doing over my entire life that were ingrained in me, and that they were really hard to break. Addictions that I think over time had formed, like with processed food, with certain foods, with sugar, that made it really hard. Even though in my head I knew that's what would be helpful. It would be super helpful to cut out these certain foods and to eat these certain things and do things in a different way, but it was super hard. It was really hard to break those habits. And also, I had just gone online, learned about some essential oils, and I bought some offline, right? I didn't really know enough about quality or whatnot. I just saw that, okay, this is what's good for this, and this is good for this. This is what I need. And so I just went and found the best deal out there and purchased my essential oils. And so as I was starting to use those, and I was trying to make some nutrition changes, that I just wasn't seeing the progress. The oils weren't necessarily working. So the ones that Elise had given me had helped support with allergies. And then she had also given me some for some warts that my kids had that we put on oregano, and those bug babies just like fell off. It was pretty incredible. But the things that I had purchased online, they were giving me the same results. And so I was really concerned about that, and concerned about wasting more time and more energy on things that maybe weren't working. So I had some concern about that. The other thing that I had I just have to call it out, this elephant in the room, is network marketing. I was afraid of purchasing essential oils from an MLM, from a network marketing company. I have a business degree, an MBA, have done business, and had this ingrained in my mind that their pyramid scheme, that they have, poor quality products. It's just they're trying to get in there to sell these things. And so I had these fears and misconceptions about it that made me I was trying to steer clear of that because I didn't want someone like, yeah, you should sell these. So that was another challenge that I was facing with that. And then also because my mood was so low and my energy was so low, it was hard. It was just energetically hard to make these changes. So I was struggling with those things, but I was committed. I was committed to seeing through this process. And so, okay, if other people have made changes, like how did you do it? How did you change your nutrition? How did you break those habits? How did you stop eating so much sugar or consuming so many processed foods? And especially with a family where you have kids, like how do you do that? And so I spent a lot of time researching and studying other people and what they were doing to get the results that they wanted. And so what helped me to make those changes to create the transformation that I wanted to have in my life, number one, with nutrition, and what I found is that if you're having a hard time changing those habits, but you're needing the nutrients to help your body to make those changes, the supplements are great. And so I had learned about a supplement called Lifelong Vitality, and they're just whole food, plant-based supplements that help to increase your energy, help support your mood, and helps reduce inflammation. So a lot of things that I was dealing with was inflammation. And what I needed were these nutrients, these foods, that I was having a hard time getting in my mouth, even though it's not hard. It's not hard to stick things in your mouth. I was having a hard time sticking the right things in my mouth and not sticking up the things that were causing some harm. And so the supplements was something that I was learning about. That, okay, that's pretty easy to do. You could take those morning and night, morning and afternoon, that they will provide your body with a lot of the things that it needs. So that as you start feeling better, you start making better decisions. As you start making better decisions, you feel even better. And it creates this domino effect. So I was learning about those, but highly skeptical. I didn't know if it's just like a sales thing. And the other thing I was learning about was the quality of oils, that is the most important thing with essential oils is the quality and knowing where they're sourced from and trusting the company that you're buying oils from. Because most companies, the oils that they purchase them through a broker. So they don't really know the origin of the oils. They don't really know where they came from. They might have like some test that says, woo-hoo-hoo, that these are great, but you don't really know the validity of those tests unless you can go clear from where they are sourced. And most companies, they buy from a broker. And these brokers may or may not be honest in telling them, the truth of that, or they just may not know really the source of these oils. And so that's why, as I was learning about this, the quality, if you're getting quality oils, you might pay more for them, but they're, number one, more effective. But number two is that you use so much less of them than if you're getting some watered down, diluted, toxin-filled oil. And so okay, I'm learning these things. And then also it was helpful knowing that, okay, if I did get oils from my friend Elise, that she's going to be there to support me. So when I purchased the oils online, it wasn't like the person cared who I was as their customer. They're just selling me oils. If I went to like Whole Foods or somewhere to purchase them, it's not like they were going to follow up with me like, hey, how's that working for you? There was none of that. I didn't care. They made the sell, right? And so that was another thing that was really important to me, is that I had a group of people or some kind of guide, somebody to help me through this journey. And Elise was phenomenal. But the last thing, this is the thing that really got me. And this, I hope that people will think about this as they're making purchases of anything, is that there was this 30-day money-back guarantee with the oils and with the supplements, that they said that if you did not get the results that you wanted, that you could return those things empty and get a refund. And I thought, what? Okay, number one, that would be really bad if a lot of people were returning them. Your company's can go out of business. So they probably are pretty good. But then I also thought, there has never been a doctor that told me, okay, if my visit to you wasn't valuable, you don't need to pay me. Or after taking that prescription medication, hey, if it didn't work, you didn't get the results you wanted, or if you don't really like the side effects that you got from it, you get a money back guarantee. Like, I never experienced that. There was no, even like just over the counter medication that I purchased that ever had some kind of guarantee like that. So that for me was kind of the shift to, okay, I'm going to stick my foot in just a little bit. I'm going to make this jump, give it my 30-day trial and see how it goes. And literally within those 30 days, my mood, my energy, I started seeing the reduction of those cravings that I had. And it was starting to make it easier to make the adjustments in my life that I knew I needed to make that were in here, but they made it easier to do. And so I was getting immediate results using essential oils, but they were also contributing to the long-term habit changes that I needed to make. And so that was huge for me. So from that, really the results that I got from this experience was that I was able to eliminate migraines. Like I was able to pinpoint the foods and the stress and the things that were causing them, and also mitigate some of the pain and things that came with them as I was transitioning into this healthier lifestyle. Also, my energy levels went up. I had better moods, like instead of crazy mom going off, whatever, like I was happy, and I'm for the most part happy. And then I also know that when there are times that I struggled, that I have resources right at my fingertips to use. From that time that we started using essential oils till now, so 2019, 9 years that we have 6 kids. So I was able to have 2 more healthy babies. And with that, we haven't been to the doctor once for sick care, which is phenomenal. That's not everybody's experience, but because I put in the effort, because I put in the time to learn, what do I use for what? How do I use this? How can I create a new habit? How can we create a healthier lifestyle, starting to eat better and do things better, that we definitely get sick less often, but also knowing what do I do if I'm not feeling well. Like yesterday, my Minna, who's 8 years old, she, there's just a lot of sugar that goes on, not necessarily in my house, but outside, going to school or different activities. It seems like that's what we give as gifts now. It's just constant. And so I feel really sensitive to that. And so if she hasn't been eating well, for some reason, emotionally, she will have fits. It's almost like she has ADHD, just goes crazy and isn't in control of herself. So last night, she was having a really hard time. She had gotten some spider bites and was throwing a fit about that, and we were putting some oils that was helping with that. But she also needed a quick trim of her hair. School started today, and she'd been putting it off, and she was just throwing this humongous fit. And every time she does that, it triggers in my mind, I think she needs more omegas. I think she needs more nutrients. And so I give her some supplements, and literally within probably about 5 to 10 minutes, that girl is back in control of her emotions. And normally she is just a super happy, fun, amazing girl, but once in a while she have these things. And so I love that I have things at my fingertips and I know how to use them. And so besides the weight, having control over my weight, be able to lose the weight that I was putting on, and feeling like I'm in control of it, better eating habits, better nutrition, the sinus infections have gone away. And not saying that I haven't had things come up here and there, but I know what to use and what to do. And so really those things that I was struggling with have really gone away, but more importantly, who I've become because of this kind of trial, this journey that I've been on, is that I'm so much more empowered as a mom, so much more confident that when my kids have something that comes up, whether it's physical, emotional, that I feel like I have things at my hands, whether those are essential oils or something else, that I even just knowing that I have Google and resources, friends, a community that I can reach out to, I just feel so much more empowered and more in control. And that I am leading my life by example, that I am taking the steps to lead a happy, healthy life. And I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. And that's what I want my kids and the people around me to know and see, that that's what we can do. Like this, we can have trials and struggles and feel stuck, but there's always a solution out there. There's always something that we can use, or resources or people that are out there that can help support us in moving forward in our life and our journey. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that's the reason why I'm so passionate about essential oils, and not some weird, I don't know, overzealous way, but just because they are so impactful in our lives. But knowing that there are certain things that can help us in that journey. Is, if we're starting from a place of maybe where we don't want to be and we can see where we want to be, that there are guides and helps and supports that we can access, resources available to us that we can help move us forward in our life journey. And then what happened is I started feeling like this. I felt compelled to help other people through that journey. And I think that that's what happens to us once we start feeling well physically and emotionally, that it's natural for us to reach outside of ourselves. But oftentimes when we're the ones that are struggling, that we're so inward focused that it's helpful to be able to take care of those things and then start working with other people. So I just want to share that with you. So episode number 1 is down. Woohoo! 364 more to go. So we'll see how it goes. I will see everyone tomorrow.